I bought the house for silence. I wanted a place where nothing was expected of me. No noise, no obligations, no history attached to my name. But the first photo I ever posted of the deck went viral in the Stewart family group chat. 10 minutes later, my mother texted, "Great. Julian and Belle can move in by Friday." By Sunday night, they arrived with suitcases, a crib, and a locksmith. I thought I was finally claiming my own Christmas. Instead, I had interrupted a plan that already had my name forged all over it. My name is Faith Stewart. In my day-to-day life, I am a brand strategist at Redwood Meridian, a boutique agency in Harborview that smells like cold brew, polished concrete, and quiet ambition. I build narratives for companies. I take complicated, messy realities and turn them into clean, intentional stories that feel strong and inevitable. I am very good at my job. I live in a glass and concrete condo overlooking the water, a place I chose precisely because it looks nothing like home. Home was Maple Bridge, Connecticut. A 3-story colonial with perfect white shutters and a lawn so manicured it looked vacuumed instead of mowed. The kind of house that ends up on fall magazine covers. Golden maples. Symmetry. Charm. But symmetry is just another word for control. In our family there was gravity. My parents, Gregory and Celeste Stewart, were the center. My older brother Julian, 4 years ahead of me, was the sun. And I existed somewhere farther out, a quiet moon on a long, unnoticed orbit. The walls of that house told the truth. They weren't walls. They were a shrine. Julian's first lacrosse stick was mounted in a glass case like a holy relic. His model UN plaques climbed the main staircase in a perfect ascending line. His varsity letters were framed.
His trophies were polished weekly. My achievements lived in a brown banker's box under the basement stairs, beside unused holiday decorations, debate ribbons, honor roll certificates, a poem I had published in a regional journal. They were kept tidy. They were kept hidden. They didn't match the decor. The erasure didn't happen all at once. It was a habit before it became a tradition. Christmas made it sharp. Every December came with the same explanations. "Oh, Faith, we thought you had plans in the city." It was such a last-minute decision to have everyone here. "You're so independent, honey. We know you're fine on your own." These were the polite ways of saying, "We didn't think of you." I can trace it back to the beginning. I was 10 years old. A cold Saturday morning. The kitchen smelled like maple syrup and melting butter. Julian had a big game. My mother stood at the stove, pouring pancake batter into the shape of a massive, perfect letter J. Her focus was absolute. I sat at the island, waiting. The clock ticked. Each second landed like a drop of water in silence. Eventually, I got down, pulled bread from the pantry, and made myself toast.
Dry.
Scratchy. I ate it alone while the clock acknowledged me more than anyone else did. As we got older, the erasure got more refined. When I was a teenager, I won a regional writing prize. It came with a certificate and a crisp $100 check. I came home glowing. My mother glanced at it once. "That's nice, dear." Her eyes stayed on an envelope from a university. "While you're here, could you proofread Julian's college essay? You're so good with words." My accomplishment wasn't a victory. It was a tool. The first holiday that truly broke something happened my first year of college. I had already booked my train ticket home. A week before Christmas, my father called. "Change of plans, Faith. We're all flying to Palm Beach. Too expensive to add another ticket now. We'll see you at New Year's." I understood. I canceled my ticket. I spent Christmas alone in a deserted dorm room, eating ramen and watching old movies. In January, I visited my grandmother, Nana Ruth. On her fridge was the Stewart family Christmas card. My parents and Julian in matching red sweaters, smiling in front of our living room fireplace. Dated December 24th. They hadn't gone to Palm Beach. They just hadn't wanted me there. I didn't cry.
It was colder than that.
It was the sound of a door closing, quietly and for good. So I adapted. I became hyper-competent. I built a life where I didn't need invitations. I stopped asking. I stopped hinting. I stopped leaving space, just in case. I planned my Decembers like military campaigns, solo trips, guaranteed snow, no family. I cooked perfect meals for one. I bought myself expensive wine. I made exclusion look like choice. I retrained my senses. The smell of oranges and cloves doesn't mean holidays to me. It means someone else's celebration behind a closed door. So, I taught myself to love peppermint. Peppermint tea. Peppermint bark. Peppermint lotion on my desk at work.
Crisp. Clean.
Uncomplicated. The scent of my silence. The smell of peace that belonged only to me. At Redwood Meridian, momentum is everything. For 6 months, my life revolved around one account, Titleline Outdoors. A dated brand trying to sell adventure to people who just wanted clarity. My strategy was simple. Find your signal. We launched in late summer. By fall, we had crushed every projection. At my review, my boss slid an envelope across the desk. Inside was a check for $85,000. It wasn't money. It was a door. That night, I opened Zillow. On impulse, I changed the search area. High Timber, a small mountain town 3 hours inland. I found the house at midnight. A black A-frame, 3 bedrooms, a massive deck hanging over a silent valley. I bought it through an LLC. My name on nothing. My privacy intact. I called it High and Pine, a mythic bird. Trees that guard. I closed in late November. I drove up alone. No moving truck. No witnesses. The first night, I slept on an air mattress by the fireplace, watching blue flames fight the cold glass. I wasn't lonely. I was finally responsible only for myself. I worked weekdays in the city, weekends on the mountain. I sanded cabinets, installed smart locks, reinforced doors, built guest rooms by hand. Not obligations. Invitations. When the deck lights went up, the house looked like a ship floating in darkness. For the first time in my life, I was home. I posted 3 photos on a private Instagram. The deck at sunrise. A mug by the fire. Flames in stone. The caption was 5 words. I bought myself quiet. I slept for 9 hours. When I woke up, my phone was vibrating violently. Someone had shared the post to the family group chat. My mother replied, "Perfect timing. Julian and Belle need space with the baby. We'll move them in Friday." Not a question. A declaration. My father warned me about taxes. Julian sent a thumbs-up emoji. Then a photo of boxes labeled nursery. They had already decided. I replied with 3 words.
No.
I've made plans. The phone rang. My father told me to be useful. I told him no one was moving in, that it was final, that they were not welcome. He hung up. I documented everything. Screenshots.
Logs.
Records. This wasn't a family disagreement. It was a hostile takeover. Nana Ruth called. She believed me instantly. "If they show up," she said, "you lock the door and call the sheriff."
So I prepared.
A no trespass order. Cameras. Entry logs. Legal counsel. On December 23rd, at 7:42 p.m., motion alerts lit up my phone. Their SUV rolled up my driveway. Suitcases. A crib. And a locksmith. They rang the bell. I spoke through the intercom. "This is private property.
Leave."
They didn't. The locksmith unpacked his drill. That was the line. I called the sheriff. Gave the parcel number. Gave the names. Reported an active attempt to break in. Sirens came fast. Red and blue lights cut through the trees. The drill stopped. Julian stepped back. For the first time in my life, someone stood between me and them. I didn't open the door. I stayed by the fire, peppermint tea warm in my hands, listening to the quiet return. I bought the house for silence. This time, I kept it. A patrol car crunched over the gravel, its headlights flooding the porch in a hard, unforgiving white glare. Everyone froze. My family looked like actors caught mid-scene when the wrong curtain suddenly went up. The locksmith's drill slipped from his hands and clattered against the wood. A deputy stepped out of the car. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his hat pulled low. His expression was calm, unreadable, and not remotely amused. He walked up the porch steps at an unhurried pace, as if this were already decided. "Good evening, folks," he said, his voice steady and loud enough to carry. "Quite a gathering. What seems to be the problem?" My mother, Celeste, transformed instantly. Her shoulders curved inward. Her hands clasped dramatically at her chest. Her face softened into practiced concern. "Oh, thank goodness," she said. "Officer, this is all a terrible misunderstanding. This is our daughter's house. We drove all this way for Christmas and she isn't well. She's locked herself inside. We're just trying to get to her. We're worried sick." The deputy didn't respond right away. He looked at my mother, then at the suitcases, then at the folded crib, then at the locksmith's tools scattered across my porch. "I see," he said finally. He took a step back and adjusted his stance. "I'm going to need identification from all of you. Please." My father stiffened. "That's unnecessary. This is a family matter." The deputy's eyes didn't waver. "This is a property matter, sir. Identification. Now." One by one, they handed over their licenses. "Gregory Stewart, Celeste Stewart, Julian Stewart. And you, ma'am?" "Belle Stewart," she whispered. The deputy checked each name under his flashlight, then glanced at the clipboard in his hand. "Well," he said, "I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I know exactly what's going on here." He turned the clipboard toward himself. "The bad news is this property is not owned by Faith Stewart. It is owned by a corporation, High & Pine LLC. And I have a legally filed, recorded no trespass notice from the LLC's counsel specifically barring Gregory, Celeste, and Julian Stewart from this property." Silence. Absolute, crushing silence. My mother's face collapsed. The performance drained out of her in real time. An LLC, she stammered. "That's just paperwork. I'm her mother." "There is no such thing as family rights when it comes to criminal trespass," the deputy replied flatly. "This is private property. You were warned not to be here." He turned to the locksmith. "Were you aware these individuals had no legal right to enter this property?" The locksmith was already packing his tools, hands shaking.
"No, sir."
"He told me it was his daughter's house, and she was indisposed. I'm done. I'm leaving." He didn't wait for permission. My father stepped forward, voice low and furious. "This is outrageous. You'll be hearing from our lawyers." "That's your right," the deputy said calmly. "But tonight, you'll be calling them from a hotel." He retrieved a large manila envelope from his patrol car. "This is your copy of the recorded notice. If you return, you will be arrested. Any attempt to contact the owner tonight may be considered harassment." He crossed his arms. "I'll wait here while you load your things and leave." It was checkmate. Julian looked like he might explode, but he said nothing. Gregory snatched the envelope. Celeste stood frozen, small and pale. They packed in silence. The SUV roared away, red taillights vanishing into the trees. I never opened the door. I stayed by the fire, peppermint tea warming my hands, breathing for the first time in decades. Christmas morning came quietly. Snow had fallen all night, heavy and soft, sealing the world in white. The house felt insulated from everything that had happened. By mid-morning, it wasn't quiet anymore. Priya, Gabe, and Luce arrived with bags, food, laughter, and certainty. Then my neighbors came. My house filled with warmth, with voices, with chosen family. And for a few hours, I believed it was over, until Priya paused, phone in hand. "Faith, you should see this." My mother had posted publicly a story about a Christmas miracle, about Julian and Belle finding a safe place, about a nursery, about moving day. Tagged to the mountain. Not my address. Close enough. It was a lie built to look like truth. A campaign. Then came the message. Then the forged paperwork. Then the planted mail. Then the surveillance footage of my father stuffing envelopes into my mailbox at 2:11 a.m. This was no longer emotional. It was criminal. Tuesday morning, my attorney confirmed it.
Forgery.
Mail fraud. Identity fabrication. Attempted tenancy creation. We went on the offensive. Cease and desist. Fraud alerts. Infrastructure locks. Emergency protective order. And still they came again. New Year's Eve. 2 SUVs. A hired mediator. A final attempt to rewrite reality. But this time, I wasn't alone. There were witnesses. There was law enforcement. There were documents laminated and waiting by the door. And when Belle finally broke, when she refused to steal a home for her child, the entire illusion collapsed. They left. For good. I locked the door. Turned the deadbolt. Listened to the final, solid click. The house held. I turned back to my friends, smiling. Hot cocoa's ready, I said. Who wants extra whipped cream? For the first time in my life, the silence afterward wasn't empty. It was peace.